This is Catherine Bartrell, who works for Julie's Bicycles. What does Julie's Bicycle actually do?
So Julie's Bicycle is a non-profit organisation that works with the music industry and the arts to support them in environmental sustainability here in the UK.
Has your company ever worked with Gibson guitars before or after the Rosewood event?
No, Julie's Bicycle has not explicitly worked with musical instruments, but we work with all business companies, whether it's record labels, music managers, promoters, that are responsible for the creation and the presentation of arts here within the UK and globally.
What do you think of the wood usage in the music industry? Quite broad, but yeah.
So the amount of wood that goes into music instruments compared to all wood products is very small, but the type of wood that's often required for these musical instruments is a very kind of precious, scarce wood resource that requires going into forests around the world, and there's not, managing those forests and accessing that wood is quite challenging. And then you need really good quality wood to make some of these products, especially like the Gibson guitars. And therefore it's how do you create a great instrument but not unduly damage the forests that these are coming from.
Okay. How sustainably do you think the Madagascar rainforest is being used?
There's been a lot of pressure on the Madagascar rainforest. It's for a whole number of reasons, from population growth to economic opportunities to the kind of huge value in those forests. And so I think in the past decade, it's likely that those forests have not been sustainably managed, and it's due to corruption and opportunity has meant that a lot of rosewood and other sort of precious wood resources have been coming out of the forests unsustainably.
Would you suggest any other type of wood as a suitable replacement of Madagascan rosewood?
I think there is, the reason why the rosewood is so sought after is because of its timbre that it creates in the musical instruments, and it does mean that it can be quite hard to find a like wood that can make that sound that is so valued by musicians. But I think there is increasingly alternatives that can be used for creating those instruments.
And what do you think of the rate that the rainforest is being cut down by industries at the current time?
The forests will, there are, and in a way the Gibson issues in Madagascar really put a highlight on the importance of those forests and that they are being unsustainably cut down. And therefore I think it is creating opportunity to think, okay, the rate of deforestation has been very high, how can we manage successfully the forest that we do have? And I think there is a lot that companies and have a responsibility to do, and companies like Gibson can do to ensure that the resource that remains is sustainably managed and creates livelihoods for the people in and around the forest.
Do you think the rainforest's usage is being increased at a rate it can't sustain?
I would say in the Madagascar context that is true. Without serious governance around the forest that will come from the Madagascan people and government, and then the companies like Madagascar that are creating the economic value from that forest, that they are working in partnership with the growers and the governments in Madagascar. But I think there is opportunity, especially if you can take the long time horizon, that these woods will take decades to grow, and but these companies have long histories. Oftentimes what you find is wood product companies can take a longer time horizon with how they manage a forest.
Okay. And what percentage of the materials being harvested from the rainforest do you think is necessary rather than just luxury?
I think that's a tough question because there's so many products in our homes and that require wood, wood products, and wood and forest-related products can be sustainably managed. I think what music instruments is a teeny tiny percentage of that. We're looking at way less than 10%, I would estimate, somewhere sort of in between 1 and 5% is going into musical instruments of all forest products. But I think what's important is that these forests, these are some of the most high value species of trees in the forest, and therefore one of those trees might be equivalent of a whole hectare of other forest products.
Mm-hmm.
So really thinking about how you manage the most valuable pieces of the forest is important, but also that all the other plants and animals that are living in that area, you need to not manage for one tree species, but you need to manage for the whole diversity of species if you want to sustain that forest for decades to come.
Thank you.
Thank you for your interview.